Zara Williams sold flowers outside the Kang Plaza Hotel every day after school. 9 years old, invisible to the wealthy guests, just another street kid trying to survive. Nobody knew she spoke Russian. Her mother, gone 2 years now, had been from Moscow, had taught her the language before the accident that took both parents. Now it was just Zara and her grandmother, struggling, barely making rent. So Zara sold flowers and watched and listened. She'd seen the hotel's owner exactly twice. Junho Kong, young, handsome, cold, the kind of man who looked through people like her as if they didn't exist. His security guards spoke Russian sometimes, thought no one understood. But Zara understood. And at 5:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, she heard three words that made her blood run cold. When he opens the door. She looked at the black car waiting at the curb, looked at the guards smirking, and knew someone was about to die. 5:30 p.m., 17 minutes before Junho Kang stood in his penthouse office looking down at the city he'd conquered. 34 years old, self-made, ruthless. He'd built an empire through calculated risks and zero sentiment. People were tools, emotions were weaknesses. Trust was a luxury he couldn't afford. His phone buzzed. Chen, his driver. "Car ready, sir." Junho checked his watch. 5:31 p.m., right on schedule. He prided himself on precision. Predictability meant control. Every day, same routine. Leave office at 5:50, enter car at 6 o'clock. Arrive home at 6:15. No deviation, no weakness. His security chief, Victor, appeared in the doorway. "Sir, tomorrow's meeting with the Shanghai investors? Handled." Junho didn't look up. "Is there anything else?" "No, sir." "Then stop wasting my time." Victor's jaw tightened, but he left without another word. Good. Junho had no patience for incompetence, or feelings, or anything that interfered with efficiency. He gathered his briefcase. 17 minutes until departure. Outside on the street corner, life operated at a different frequency. Zara held up another flower to a passing businessman. "Fresh roses, sir? Only $3. The man didn't even slow down. She'd been here since 3:30. Sold 4 flowers, $12. Enough for dinner. Not enough for the electric bill Grandma was worried about. Her feet hurt. Her stomach growled. But she smiled at the next passerby. "Beautiful roses, ma'am?" Ignored. She was used to it. 9 years old, black, as poor, she might as well be invisible. But invisible meant people didn't watch what they said around her. Invisible meant she heard things. Like now. Victor and 2 other security guards stood near the hotel entrance, smoking. Speaking Russian. Most people would hear foreign words and tune out. Zara heard her mother's language. "Ready at 6 exactly?" Victor was saying. "When he opens the door, it will—" He made an explosive gesture with his hands. The other guards laughed. Zara's blood went cold. She looked at the sleek black car parked at the curb. The car Junho Kang entered every single day at exactly 6 p.m. The car these men were talking about. Her hands started shaking. They were going to hurt someone, maybe end someone. And she was the only person who understood what they'd just said. A 9-year-old girl is the only one who knows about an assassination plot? Drop a heart if you're already stressed. Zara speaks Russian because of her late mother and just overheard the guards planning to end her boss when he opens the door. She's a child selling flowers to survive, and now she has 17 minutes to warn a man who doesn't even see her. Hit that like button and subscribe to Korean Mafia Tales, because Junho has no idea his own security team is plotting against him, and this invisible little girl is his only hope. Time is running out. 5:35 p.m., 15 minutes before Zara's mind raced. She had to warn someone, but who? The guards were the bad guys. The hotel staff wouldn't believe a street kid. And Junho Kang himself? She'd seen him exactly twice. Both times. See wrong happening. Staying silent makes see wrong happening. Staying silent makes you part of it. Zara looked at her remaining flowers, looked at the hotel entrance, looked at the black car. She had 15 minutes. Victor and the guards had moved inside, still talking. Zara edged closer to the entrance, pretending to arrange her flowers. Timed perfectly, one guard was saying in Russian. The device is under the driver's seat, remote detonation. When he's inside, we activate it from across the street. And if he survives, another asked, we have the backup plan. Victor patted something under his jacket. Zara's stomach turned. These weren't just bad people, they were professionals, organized, ready for anything. And she was 9 years old with a basket of flowers. She needed help. Chen, the driver, was standing by the car. He looked normal, kind even. Not like the Russian guards. Zara approached carefully. Excuse me, sir? Chen glanced down, surprised anyone was talking to him. Yes? Do you speak Russian? No. Why? The guards, they were just... She stopped. How could she explain without sounding crazy? They were what? Chen's tone was patient but dismissive. Probably thought she was begging. They were talking about something bad. About the car, about... Kid, I don't have time for games. Chen turned back to the vehicle, checking something on his phone. I'm not playing. They said something about when he opens the door. Look, I'm working. If you want to sell flowers, try the tourists. He wasn't mean, just done with the conversation. Zara stepped back, heart sinking. Nobody would listen. She checked the time on the hotel's clock. 5:41 p.m. 19 minutes until Junho Kang walked out that door. 19 minutes until he climbed into a car that would hurt him, and she was the only person who knew. Her hands were shaking so hard she almost dropped her flower basket. What could one invisible little girl possibly do against trained guards with weapons and plans? But then she remembered her mother. Her brave, beautiful mother who'd fled Russia for a better life, who'd taught Zara to be strong. You are small, my little one, but you are fierce. Never forget that. Zara took a deep breath. Okay, if the adults wouldn't listen, she'd have to make them listen. 5:47 p.m., 13 minutes before Zara positioned herself near the hotel entrance. She'd never been inside. Security always shooed street vendors away, but today she had to try. She walked through the revolving door like she belonged there. Immediately, a security guard, not one of the Russian conspirators, just regular hotel security, stepped in front of her. No soliciting. I need to talk to Mr. Kang. It's important. The guard actually laughed. Mr. Kang doesn't take meetings with... He gestured at her flower basket, her worn shoes. Anyone who walks in off the street. But it's about his safety. Out now, before I call the authorities. Zara's eyes stung, but she wouldn't cry. Please, someone's going to hurt him. I said out. A hand gripped her shoulder, not gently. The guard was escorting her back to the doors. Wait! The guards, the Russian ones. They're planning something. But she was already being pushed outside. The door closed behind her. 5:49 p.m. 11 minutes. Zara wanted to scream, wanted to cry, wanted to run home and hide and pretend she'd never heard anything. But she couldn't. She looked up at the building. Junho Kang was up there somewhere, completely unaware that in 11 minutes, he'd walk to a car that would take everything from him. Think, Zara, think. The guards were watching the street. Victor was probably inside waiting. Chen wouldn't listen. Hotel security had thrown her out. She couldn't get to Junho Kang before he left the building, but she could get to him when he walked out. She'd have to be loud, impossible to ignore, brave enough to look crazy if that's what it took. And if the Russian guards realized she understood them? If they decided she was a threat? Zara pushed that thought away. 5:52 p.m. She positioned herself right by the door, where he'd have to walk past her, where she'd have exactly one chance to make him listen. Her whole body was shaking. but she was her mother's daughter, and she would not let someone get hurt without trying everything she could to stop it. 5:56 p.m., 4 minutes before the hotel doors opened. Junho Kang stepped out. Tall, expensive suit, cold expression, phone to his ear, already talking to someone about numbers and deals and things Zara didn't understand. Chen straightened, opening the car's back door. The black car, with the device underneath. Mr. Kang! Zara's voice came out too high, too desperate. He didn't even glance at her, kept walking. Mr. Kang, please. Don't get in that car! He brushed past her like she was furniture, 3 steps from the car. They're going to hurt you. Zara grabbed his sleeve. Junho stopped, looked down at the small hand on his expensive jacket. His expression was ice. Let go. Please, you have to listen. Security. He didn't raise his voice, didn't have to. A guard started toward them. The guard spoke Russian. Zara was talking fast, desperate. They said when he opens the door and they made an explosion sound and they're watching right now and there's something under the seat and... Chen, handle this. Junho pulled his arm free, already moving toward the car, 2 steps away. Zara did the only thing she could think of. She spoke Russian, the exact words she'd heard. When he opens the door, boom! Junho froze, turned slowly. Oh, what did you just say? Device under the driver's seat, remote detonation. Zara's Russian was perfect, her mother's gift. Backup plan if he survives. Junho's face had gone completely still. He looked at her, really looked at her for the first time. Where did you hear that? Your guards, Victor and the 2 others. They were speaking Russian by the entrance. They think nobody understands, but my mom was Russian, and she taught me and I heard them. And they're planning to... Junho held up a hand. Looked at the car. At Victor, who was standing across the street, watching. At the other Russian guards positioned nearby. Chen had gone pale. Sir? Don't touch the car. Junho's voice was deadly calm. Step away from it, now. Chen moved back immediately. Victor started walking toward them. Casual. But his hand was moving toward his jacket. Junho pulled Zara behind him. Protective, instinctive. Chen, code red. Lock down the building. Nobody moves. And then, to Zara, quietly. How much time did they say? 6 o'clock, when you always get in. Junho checked his watch. 5:58 p.m. 2 minutes. 5:58 p.m. 2 minutes. Everything happened very fast. Chen made a call. Within seconds, loyal security poured from the building. Not the Russian guards, but Junho's actual trusted team. Victor saw it happening. His hand went fully into his jacket. Don't. Junho's voice cut across the distance. You move, you confirm everything. You run, same thing. Your only option is to stand there and let me prove this child wrong. Victor's face was stone, but he didn't move. The other Russian guards were being quietly surrounded. Sir, we should evacuate, Chen started. In a minute. First, I want to see if she's right. Junho looked down at Zara. You're absolutely certain about what you heard? Zara nodded, terrified but sure. Chen, call the police, bomb squad. Tell them we have a possible device in my vehicle. He kept his eyes on Victor. If there's nothing there, this will be very embarrassing for me, and very, very bad for one little girl who wasted my time. Victor's expression flickered, just slightly. Junho saw it. But if there is something? His voice went colder. Then we have a very different problem. 5:59 p.m. The street was being cleared, police sirens in the distance. Victor made his choice, turned, ran, got 6 steps before Junho's security tackled him. The other guards tried to scatter, none of them made it, and then the bomb squad arrived. And everyone was evacuated 3 blocks back, and Zara found herself sitting on a curb with a blanket around her shoulders, while adults with equipment swarmed the car. Junho sat beside her. First time he'd ever been at eye level with someone like her. What's your name? Zara Williams. How old are you, Zara? 9. He was quiet for a moment. You speak Russian. My mom taught me before the accident. I'm sorry. And he sounded like he meant it. You saved my life today. I heard them, and I couldn't let someone get hurt. Across the street, the bomb squad leader was walking toward them. Sir, we found the device, remote detonation. Would have, he glanced at Zara, been very bad. It's being safely removed now. Junho looked at the small girl who'd grabbed his sleeve. The invisible child who'd seen what no one else had, who'd been brave when every adult had failed. Thank you, he said quietly. You're the bravest person I've ever met. Zara started crying, not from fear, from relief, because he'd listened, finally listened, and because someone was safe. She saved him with 2 minutes to spare. Drop a heart if that was intense. 9-year-old Zara spoke Russian to prove she heard the plot, and Junho finally listened. Victor ran and got tackled. The bomb was real. A child saved a mafia boss because she was brave enough to keep trying when every adult dismissed her. Smash that like button and subscribe to Korean Mafia Tales, because Junho just realized an invisible street kid saw what his entire security team missed, and his whole world is about to change. The transformation is coming. 2 hours later, Zara sat in the most expensive room she'd ever seen. Junho's office, 20th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows showing the whole city. Her grandmother sat beside her looking terrified and proud simultaneously. Baby, you should have come home, Mrs. Williams said for the 3rd time. You should have stayed safe. I couldn't, Grandma. Someone would have gotten hurt. Junho entered with Chen. Both men looked exhausted. Victor confessed everything, Junho said, sitting across from them. My competitors paid him $500,000 to end me. He recruited 3 other guards. The plan was elegant, simple, would have worked. He looked at Zara. If not for you. I just heard them talking. You heard them, understood them. And instead of running home where you'd be safe, you risked your life to warn a stranger who'd walked past you every single day without seeing you. His voice was quiet. I've been thinking about that. Mrs. Williams squeezed Zara's hand. I've spent 10 years building an empire, Junho continued. Surrounded myself with security. Trust no one. See everyone as a potential threat or tool. He paused. And a 9-year-old girl selling flowers was the only person who tried to save my life. Sir, you don't owe us, Mrs. Williams started. I owe you everything. Junho's tone was firm. Your granddaughter saved my life. That creates a debt I can never fully repay, but I can try. He pulled out a folder, slid it across the desk. This is the deed to an apartment, 3 bedrooms, paid in full, in a safe neighborhood with good schools. Mrs. Williams's hands shook as she opened the folder. Sir, we can't. You can. You will. Junho looked at Zara. And this young lady is getting a full scholarship, private school, through university, whatever she wants to study. That's too much. It's not enough. Junho's voice cracked slightly. I walked past your granddaughter every day, saw a street kid, saw someone beneath my notice, someone invisible. He met Mrs. Williams's eyes. She saw a person about to be hurt and risked everything to help. That's not just courage. That's character I spent years believing didn't exist. Mrs. Williams was crying. There's one more thing. Junho stood, walked to the window. I'd like permission to set up a trust fund. For Zara's future, for college, for whatever dreams she has. Mr. Kang, I'm not asking because I owe you. I'm asking because... He turned. No, because I want to be part of making sure someone that good, that brave, that pure, gets every chance to become who she's meant to be. Why? Mrs. Williams whispered. Because she reminded me that people matter, that I've been wrong about almost everything that counts. 1 week later, Junho stood in his office, staring at the pile of reports on his desk. Reorganizing security, background checks on every employee, trust destroyed, being slowly rebuilt. But that wasn't what kept him awake at night. It was the realization of how close he'd come, not just to the end, but to dying as the person he'd become. Cold, dismissive, arrogant, someone who'd walk past a child every day and never see her. Someone who'd built walls so high that a 9-year-old had to scream to get through them. Chen knocked. Sir, there's someone here to see you. Zara appeared in the doorway, backpack on, looking nervous. I'm sorry to bother you, she said quickly. I just wanted to say thank you for the apartment, and the school, and everything. Grandma says I should write a thank you note, but I wanted to say it in person. Junho felt something crack in his chest. You're not bothering me. You're never bothering me. He gestured to a chair. Sit, please. She perched on the edge of the seat. How's the new apartment? He asked. Amazing. I have my own room. With a window, and there's a park nearby. And Grandma hasn't cried this much in 2 years. Happy tears? The happiest. Zara smiled. Then her expression turned serious. Mr. Kang, can I ask you something? Anything. Why did you help us so much? Most people would just say thank you and forget about me. Junho was quiet for a long moment. Because you saved more than my life, he said finally. You saved who I am, who I could still be. I don't understand. I've spent years thinking that caring about people was weakness. That trust was foolish. That the only things that mattered were money and power. He looked at her. And then a little girl I'd never noticed risked everything to save me. Not because I deserved it, not because she'd get something out of it, but because it was the right thing to do. Zara's eyes were huge. You reminded me what matters, Junho said, and I'm trying to be someone who deserves that reminder. You're a good person, Zara said simply. I'm trying to be. Because of you. She stood up, walked around the desk, and hugged him. Junho froze. Oh, he couldn't remember the last time someone had hugged him. Slowly, carefully, he hugged her back. And for the first time in 10 years, he let himself feel something other than cold calculation. He felt gratitude, humility, hope. 6 months later, the community center opening was small, modest compared to Junho's usual projects, but it mattered more than any hotel or casino he'd ever built. The Zara Williams Community Center, the sign read, supporting children and families. Free after-school programs, tutoring, meals, language classes, everything Zara and her grandmother had needed but couldn't afford. Zara cut the ribbon, grinning, while photographers snapped pictures. Mrs. Williams stood beside Junho, dabbing her eyes. You didn't have to do this, she said. Yes, I did. Junho watched Zara talking to other kids from the neighborhood. She saved one life. This center will help hundreds. It's still not even. She'd say it is. She's 9. She doesn't understand how rare she is. He paused. How rare people like you both are. After the ceremony, Junho found Zara showing other kids the reading room. What do you think? He asked. It's perfect. Kids who don't have much can come here and learn and eat and be safe. She looked up at him. You made something good. We made something good. It's your name on the building. But it's your heart in it. Zara smiled. Grandma says you're different now. Nicer. Is that true? Junho considered it. I'm trying to be. It's harder than I thought. Being kind, seeing people, caring. But you're doing it. Because you showed me how. He knelt down to her level. Do you know what you want to be when you grow up? I want to help people. Like you're helping people now. Like I helped you. You'll be amazing at it. Junho stood. Whatever you choose, you'll have every resource you need. Education, support, opportunities. I know, thank you. She hugged him. It was easier now. Natural. Thank you, he said quietly. For saving my life. For changing it. You changed your own life. I just gave you a reason to. Maybe that was true, or maybe a 9-year-old girl selling flowers had seen something in him worth saving. Either way, he was grateful. 1 year later, Junho sat in his office, the same office where Victor had once planned his ending. But everything was different now. The security team was new, vetted, trustworthy. The business was restructured, more legitimate, less ruthless. And on his desk, next to the financial reports, sat a framed photo. Zara, age 9. Pa holding flowers, smiling at the camera. The day she'd saved his life. Chen knocked. Sir, the elementary school called. Zara's teacher wants to schedule a meeting about her performance. Junho looked up sharply. Is something wrong? No, sir, she's doing exceptionally well. They want to discuss advanced placement. Junho relaxed. Schedule it. I'll be there. You don't have to attend every school meeting. I want to. He meant it. She's brilliant. She deserves people showing up for her. After Chen left, Junho looked at the photo again. A year ago, he'd been minutes from ending, surrounded by people he'd paid to protect him, isolated by his own arrogance. And a child he'd never noticed had been the only one who tried to save him. Not because she wanted something, not because she expected anything, because it was right. That truth had shattered every belief he'd built his life on. Trust wasn't weakness. Caring wasn't foolish. People weren't just tools or threats. Some people, rare, precious people, were capable of extraordinary courage and selfless love. And he'd almost missed that, almost gone through life blind to it. His phone buzzed. A text from Mrs. Williams with a photo. Zara at her new school, first in her class, beaming. Junho smiled. He'd spent a decade building an empire, but the best thing he'd ever built was this. A relationship with a little girl who'd saved his life and taught him how to live it. Not with walls, not with arrogance, not with fear, but with gratitude, humility, purpose. Victor was in prison. The corrupt guards were gone. The empire was secure. But none of that mattered as much as knowing that somewhere in the city, a brilliant 9-year-old girl was thriving. Because he'd listened, finally listened, to the smallest, most invisible voice, the one that mattered most. From invisible flower seller to namesake of a community center. Drop a heart if this story touched your soul. Zara went from being dismissed by everyone to saving a mafia boss's life and changing his entire worldview. Junho went from cold and arrogant to attending her school meetings and building centers in her name. A 9-year-old who spoke Russian because of her late mother saved a man who'd walked past her for months. What was your favorite moment? Her grabbing his sleeve? Speaking Russian to prove she understood? The hug in his office? The community center? Comment below. Have you ever been invisible and had to be loud to be heard? Have you witnessed a child's courage? Share your story. If this inspired you, smash that like button and subscribe to Korean Mafia Tales for stories about courage, transformation, and people who prove that wisdom transcends age and status. Sometimes the smallest voice carries the biggest truth.